My name is Aaron Lucas, and I'm coming to you from Eyes of Light Imagery. That is my photography company. And what we do is we capture the light of the world one frame at a time. Whether it's an occasion, whether it's scenery, whether it's just a moment that happened to happen. We're here for it. And with that being said, that brings me up to my latest photo shoot. This photo shoot was with a client of mine, and this young lady, she is in a very expressive point in her life.
Yeah, it's actually really nice natural light hitting you right now.
And she came to me with an idea, with a concept for a photo shoot. And when we talked, I brought up a location that I've never been to, but it's always been held in high regard whenever anyone brings it up to me and says, hey, you want to shoot somewhere amazing? Go here. This location happens to be Longwood Gardens. If you're from the Chester County, Pennsylvania, even Philadelphia area, you might be familiar with Longwood Gardens. And so when I brought this up to my client, whose name happens to be Maxine, she was elated. She had been up there before and she knew what to expect. And so we met. At Longwood Gardens. And when we got there were quite a few surprises, a few things that I just didn't expect to experience or see. And the beautiful thing about this is, despite all the things that I did expect to see, that I did expect to experience, most of those things I didn't even see. And a lot of that was simply due to the fact that it was March at this point, the time of the year. So during this time of the year, Longwood Gardens, as I stated before, is in Pennsylvania. And in Pennsylvania, we have seasons. Inevitably, there wasn't very much greenery, there wasn't very much flowers, very many things to see. Alas, Maxine, she had created this headpiece and put together this wardrobe that was magnificent. And when we walked around, before we had even realized that most of the park was shut down, we had come to this tree house. And these first couple of photos that I'm showing you in this tree house, they just were so magical and fun. And it was just completely unexpected. We initially walked by it and we were kind of curious. Then we decided to go in and we took some pictures. And I'm very pleased with the pictures. We made our ways to this fountain. And this fountain was turned off, but it was still beautiful. The stonework, the concrete, the elaborate concrete work was a beautiful compliment to Maxine. As you can see in these photos, she really came into the environment and really became a part of it. And during this time, I noticed that she had some music going, right? And I often encourage that for my clients during the photo shoots, to bring music or a speaker or something that you like that helps you relax and can help you get into a vibe. It's really, really important when you're doing a photo shoot. The vibe, the character, the mood, the energy, all of it is really, really important. And so during this moment, I explained to Maxine, get into the music. And as you can see, I did a few little dance moves, but I had showed her, you know, get into a flow. Don't be afraid to move. Don't be afraid to move. When you're shooting with eyes of light imagery, do not be afraid to move. I implore you. And the reason why I say this, the reason why it's so important for you not to be afraid to move, because in order for me to capture your light, there has to be life, and there's movement. And in movement, there is life. Now granted, you don't have to be moving for every single shot, for the entire photo shoot. But when you do move, we got something. When you dance, no matter what your dancing level is, no matter what your skill level is with dancing, when you dance in the slightest, there's something that happens to your body. There is magic that just comes on. And because you're just in the moment, it exudes through every single part of your body in a way that's hard to duplicate. It's hard to render without movement. But it's not impossible. But it's just easier, right? So as we're doing this photo shoot, I want you to get to the magic as easy as possible. I want it to be effortless. I want it to be comfortable. And I want it to be life. That's really important. That's really important. And so as you see, during this photo shoot, after I had brought this energy to Maxine, she embodied it. And you can see, as you watch, her energy changed. It was just a different connection with her body and the way that she moved. And it was very, very subtle. And from that energy, I was able to feed and reciprocate, and it was beautiful. And as you can see, I moved around more. I'm not a tripod photographer. I need to tell your story dynamically, because that's you, that's life. Life is not, most of the time, that's not even your truth. That's not your true smile. That's not your true happiness. That's not your truth. But when you're talking to me about when you were prom queen, or you scored that goal, that game-winning goal, changes. The excitement comes true in your eyes, and the elation rings in your body language, and it comes through, and it comes through. So Maxine was able to embody what I'm talking about. And when we did that, when she did that, the photos just came alive. And during the photo shoots, you know, the whole time I'm shooting, nobody's looking at the photos. I'm not even looking at the photos. The photos are going by so fast and so rapidly, I usually don't see the photos until we get home. So, every once in a while throughout a photo shoot, I like to give my clients the opportunity to review the photos. Because they want to know what they're doing. They want to see what they're doing. They want to feel what they're doing. They need to have that reference. It helps build their confidence. Because they don't know what it looks like. They don't know what right is to me. So when they look at those photos, this moment right here, this moment right here is like a tip. It's like a bonus payment. It's like, you know, something that I just love to experience. I love to experience. That's why I make it a point to try to do well during your photo shoots, so I can have that moment.
like that.
Yeah.
And then that. Oh, I love it.
Good. I'm glad you like them.
So afterwards, after she had the opportunity to review some of the photos that we had taken, we had used a little more of that space, right? We had used a little bit more of that space, and she brought it, and it was very fun. So just as we finished those set of photos, I had pointed out another part of the park that I thought was really attractive, and I thought that could really bring out what she had brought. And this area, as you can see, is not an organic, but it has elements of organic. And at the same time, I love the contrast between the stucco and the pane windows, and it brought a beautiful framing to the images for Maxine. It brought a beautiful contrast where everything else was very, you know, either manila or dark. It was her. And as you can see, she brought color, she brought life, and she stood in these frames. She stood in this moment as the flower, as the only blooming flower outside at Longwood Gardens. And so this next moment is something that's really, really important to me. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it happens, it's exciting. Because it's, you know, you, the client, the subject, giving me energy, giving me your eyes, giving me your vision, and in a way that's just really helpful. It can really bring new magic to the photo shoot. And so at this moment, as you can hear her, she pointed out an element that she liked. You want to hear what she said?
Yeah, in the middle. I like the shadow that's inside there.
And when we went over there, what we captured was really fun. It was really fun. We're gonna take a pause for that horn trying to violate my recording. Now it's done. So, when we moved over to this other part of the park, I set up my lighting and I set up my cell phone to record behind the scenes footage. While we were over here, Max specifically picked the shadows to be in. And I appreciated that. Because from the shadows, as you can see in the foreground and in the background, there's light, there's sunlight. But in the shadows, it's darker. So then when I introduce the strobe, I can control more of that. And as you could see, there were curious people walking by, and I loved it. I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm perfectly fine with it. I actually love the curiosity. I love the life that people bring when they just walk by when I'm shooting behind the scenes footage. And so after a while, Maxine had moved, and so I brought the light forward. Because before it was off to the side, we were using more of the pillar, but now she's right in the middle of the archway. And so I moved the light, brought it down, put it right in front of her so that we can, you know, kind of balance out what we're seeing visually. I don't know, this moment, I kind of felt like they wanted to be in front of the camera. The way that they stopped right in front of the camera and turned around, and that's perfectly okay with me. And we just continued on with creating magic, and Maxine just did an amazing job. She did an amazing job. Look at her. Look at her. So as we continued on with, you know, taking the photos and creating and capturing this moment, we had more bystanders and onlookers. You see my man looking at the camera, the one man looking at the shots. And he turns around, you see him, he see it. He try to get up in the shot, he try to get his flick too. Hey, I ain't mad at you, brother. I ain't mad at you. Thank you for bringing your energy. As we continue on with the photos, we're just getting into a good flow. We're just getting into a good flow. And as you can see, I tend to change my levels. I change my composition often. I often change my composition. I often change my general level just to make a more dynamic set of photos to choose from. Just to have, you know, different perspectives and more energy. And, you know, we wrapped that up and we thought we were done with the photo shoot. Thought we were done. But afterwards, when we walked around, we found a cave that had these beautiful lights. And the real kicker about this cave and these lights is I couldn't even see them with my naked eye. I couldn't see them with the naked eye. Because of the way it was set up, it was kind of like washed out a little bit. But when I brought the camera and I can adjust how the light is received and what is seen, it actually brought out color. It brought out colors that I didn't even know were there. And that was a nice way to end the photo shoot. That was a nice way to end the photo shoot. And, you know, for me as a photographer, I can do your photo session in the studio, indoors, comfortable, fully controlled. I can do your photo shoot session outside and still have control. But the beauty about each, right? With shooting indoors, you have almost absolute control. There's less things that are going to happen that are anomalies, that are just things that you don't want to happen or see during your photo shoot. You have way more control. At the same time, on the opposite spectrum, shooting outside, you don't have control over a lot of what is going on. You have minimal control. You can try to, you know, deal with and manipulate what you have, but at the end of the day, you have wind, you have unstable grounds, you have grass, you have rocks, you got all kinds of stuff. But that is the beauty of shooting outside, because there's so many surprise elements that can come in, be a factor in your photo shoot, that also can make for a great photo shoot. The reason why that is because a lot of times the unexpected things will be some of the best elements in the photo shoot. The unexpected things, the things you didn't expect to see when you turn that corner, can really take your photo shoot to a level that neither me or you could have foreseen. So however it is that you want to get to your vision, we can get to your vision. And we can have fun doing it. Thanks for watching. It's Eyes of Light Imagery. Overall, this experience with this photo shoot was a success. There were so many things that went into making the photos what they were, what they are. And I assure you, it's not all me. Yes, I captured the moment, but the subject, the client, the model, the individual that you're capturing, they got to bring it too. They got to bring it too. And the fact that Maxine took the time to create that wonderful headpiece and coordinate the outfit in the way that she did and have that kind of vision and had that kind of vision of herself, that's really a really important thing. The vision you have of yourself really makes a world of difference in how your photos come out during your photo shoot. She could see herself as this blossoming individual, as this blooming individual, and she stood out in a botanical garden as the flower, as the only flower. And I appreciate being a part of that moment. And I hope, that I could be a part of your special moments and your ideas and your dreams and your visions of how you want to see yourself. How you want to see yourself. I have my opinions, I have my knowledge, I have my ways about me as a photographer when it comes to getting a good image. But that's not the whole equation. How you feel about yourself, how you're reflecting where you want to see yourself is really important when it comes to the magic of having a great professional photo shoot. And I hope that in the near future, you let Eyes of Light Imagery capture your magic like we did.